Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Christmas movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh, boy.
So disgusting.
Yeah.
The song gets better. It's like ages like a fine wine.
Sure
that
does.
song.
It sure does. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Sunday.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. And it's, I guess, officially Thanksgiving week. It's kind of weird that the calendar week starts on Sunday, but the work week doesn't start until Monday.
Sunday's the first day of the week.
I
Come
know.
on.
It's just weird.
It's our Lord's Day.
It feels like the last day.
It
though,
does.
You know?
It
Like
does.
you start the...
You get a case of the, what do they call it? My wife says it. The Sunday scaries. Yeah.
Never had
I
those.
never understood that,
No.
but...
No.
I mean, I do get to come in Monday morning and watch movies, so that might have something to
But
do with
these
the fact.
movies do scare you.
You do.
This
yeah,
one
it's a problem.
scared me something fierce, Bran.
yeah.
I'll say that.
So I mean, it does feel like Sunday scary. I don't know. Like I don't really know what that means. Like you get scared about going
the
back
Sunday
to work.
scaries
work,
is
I
like
guess.
you have trouble like
Do you have the
winding
Sunday
down.
scaries, Aaron? I mean, I know you like your job.
Careful,
okay?
you're talking to your boss.
But
You don't have
also
to answer
work
this.
7
Yeah,
no,
days.
I have had Sunday scaries in the past. I don't get them for this job.
I mean, my
But,
kids hate going to school on Monday.
Yeah, you just dread the
Sunday
next day.
scaries.
Sunday scaries. They yeah. So in the past, you get it, you understand. But like my wife likes her job, but still on Sunday she's like, I don't want to go back to work on Monday. I guess there's something to that that a lot of
I
people.
don't want to work. I want to bang on this mug all day.
That's right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Thanksgiving week.
It is Thanksgiving week.
Got a big week
It's-
planned out for you.
Yeah, I mean, pretty regular. The following week.
It's
This
a big,
week.
big
big
weekend next
next
weekend.
This
week,
week.
you
This
just
week.
Plan on that big weekend next weekend.
I mean, it's big. It's big. Both
Nothing
ways you
scary
slice
about
it.
this
Actually.
week.
Start packing your bags for all the fun you're gonna have next weekend.
We are covering technically
Yeah,
the same amount of movies
Put a
this
sheet
week
on
as
that
we are
door for
next week.
that's right. Put a
It's
sheet
just-
on that door.
It's just different. We're doing the same amount of movies this
Doing
week.
a
It's just
thing.
different.
It's different. It's the
different.
same but different. And what we mean
Next
is
week's
is more,
all Christmas.
more
All
Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I hope it's all.
None of the
Christmas.
other
So?
stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No,
you're
the
not
I don't know.
other
With
stuff.
Hallmark
Yeah.
Plus, who knows?
Yeah,
They
who
just do
knows?
whatever they
Who
want
knows?
to over there.
It's only Sunday.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we're excited. Another week. You guys like Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I like all the fixins and
Yeah, you're a
sides
fixin'
as well.
boy?
Not this guy over
No.
here who doesn't like dinner.
Thanksgiving. The food at
Man.
Thanksgiving is the most overrated.
No.
Overrated.
Overrated.
No.
Overrated.
Smell it.
It's the most overrated. If it's
Smell
so
that.
good, why don't you do it other times of the year? It
Makes
doesn't take
special.
any longer.
It's like the highlighter analogy. You know, it's special.
Turkeys do take a long time.
I don't like turkey.
Yeah, okay, but the sides. What side is like so special you can only have it on Thanksgiving?
There's no side I eat on Thanksgiving that I don't eat the rest.
Thank you, and you're consistent with that, and I appreciate that about you.
Same here.
I love
though,
Thanksgiving
I don't do
sides because I
stuffing
eat
very
them all
much.
Because
year.
it's a normal thing
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
If you go to the Popeyes, you get mashed potatoes and gravy. That's not something
Thanksgiving.
you're
And
waiting.
I do like turkey, but I've never made a turkey in my life, and it's just one of those things. If you're not like,
You either have to make a bad turkey or take your time and make it.
I like a turkey. I like a turkey, so I'm never upset about it.
But
But
you're not.
I do think that of the like meats that people make, like one of the reasons why people don't do turkey all the time is because it does take they're
most
big
work
birds.
for least flavor. That's the
Yeah.
It's a big bird.
yeah. Most work least flavor.
Breaker
I don't-
1-9.
Yeah, big old
Big
bird.
old bird.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I like it though.
Okay.
Sue me.
No.
I think we're doing all charcuterie this year for Thanksgiving.
That's a good idea.
It's just a big charcuterie plate. That's what we're doing.
I
And
think that charcuterie is pretentious.
fair.
I just made the. I'm coming up with this as I talk.
If something
I
is
think-
good that is pretentious, then I'm fine being.
I just
pretentious.
think
It's
let's
one
just,
day a year.
Let's
Yeah.
just call it what it
Exactly.
is, though.
See,
It's a meat and
See how
cheese.
this works. You're starting to get it now.
It's just a meat and cheese board, though.
Oh no, there's mustard.
do a lot of
There's a
stuff.
lot of different types of meats and cheeses.
Uh-huh.
There's some fruit as
Okay.
well.
Mustard, yeah.
You got bread, crackers. Really, artisanal bread is a big part of charcuterie.
You don't
if
do
you're
that
doing
though
it
on
right.
meat and cheese boards.
I put bread and crackers on it for sure. I
So
don't
that's what I'm like. What
That's a
I think it's
charcuterie.
just like hey, we've got we're American about everything, and then we get bread and cheese and meat, and we're like it's charcuterie.
Well, it's not a sandwich. if it
It's
was a sandwich, I'd
charcuterie.
call it a sandwich.
I know it's bread. It's bread.
I'm
it's,
like
it is-
you're
it's-
pronouncing it correctly.
it's meat and cheese.
Was it Panda that would always like
Panda
every
had a
time
hard
it
time
would
with
just
it.
like a spin the wheel of how to pronounce this?
Yeah.
Charcuterie. Like he was
Yeah,
just like
I think as
charcuterie.
somebody who has a hard time with words, I think that is a barrier for a lot of people.
Charcuterie.
Do you think so?
I'm just saying.
Stick with turkey.
We've dumbed stuff down a lot here in America,
Yeah.
but for some reason with the meat and the cheese, it's like charcuterie.
If it was just meat and cheese, I'd just call it meat and cheese. I wouldn't call it charcuterie. You get me some pickled peppers, some mustard,
On a
some
board.
different fruits, some crackers, some bread. Now we're talking.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's
I mean, I can literally like, oh my gosh, look at this Thanksgiving spread with all the things I either would eat every day or would never eat.
That's true.
Everything on that table falls into a column of would eat regularly or would not eat at all.
Yeah. But that same is true
But it's
with
about the
charcuterie.
people you're with, I think.
Same's true with a charcuterie.
No, I don't eat charcuterie often at all. I don't. Very rarely do I choose it because I think for a meal I usually would want something else. But there's something about Thanksgiving where you're not going anywhere. You can pick at it all day.
all day. All
So you
weekend.
don't do a sit down?
You can, but you can just leave it on the table.
But
you can come
I'm
and go.
asking for you.
No, probably
You
not.
don't, really?
No, we'll just have it there. Have some
about that?
bevies, and you might make the kids sit down and eat, so they eat at a specific time. But no, you just have it there all day. It's like on Christmas Day, we do all kinds of seafood at my house. This would do crab legs and lobster, but you just kind of like we do egg rolls and crab rangoons. You just bring it out all day and just keep eating and sitting around the TV and play video games and watching movies with your kids.
Sure.
It's like the best.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Come on.
Well, let's talk about Novel Noel. I think we've
We've
Done
done it off
enough.
long enough. This is Brian's number one pick, most excited about movie of the year.
now. I will just
I
say
pick
really
this
quickly.
first?
We were
I
watching.
believe you did.
We were watching this movie in the office, and Erin came in. We had it paused, and she immediately pointed at it and said, "That's a Christmas movie magic card. That's a Christmas movie magic card."
She did, that's
so
true.
this is a game. This is a movie that the game still works for. For those of you that were wondering, this still works. This was on your.
It
a lot
does
of-
work.
What's
This-
going
See,
on?
not my first pick.
No, not. I'm sorry. We're two ships passing in the night here. Not your first draft pick in the kickoff episode.
Right.
This was your
Absolutely.
number one pick.
Yeah.
This was most excited about.
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe
Maybe.
so.
I
I
forget.
believe so. Yes.
I'll trust your.
Was
Is it
memory.
going to hurt him in the draft? Yes,
we'll see.
it is.
We'll see. Math is still out.
Unless you can give it 100, which you've already put on the spreadsheet, then you're going to be in trouble.
DeckTheHallmark.com/game is what we're trying to say.
Of
You can
course.
play this. And
Yes.
I think if you order it today, I think you'll still be in the clear for
Thanksgiving?
a majority of the movies.
Yeah, but
this
with all the
Thanksgiving
movies
week.
you have on your Philo DVR,
Oh,
you can
man.
go back and you can play Christmas Movie Magic, and it's no problem. One more?
Well,
That didn't
wish we
sound
didn't
great.
get that one.
That's a mistake. That's on mine.
One
That's
too
on me.
many.
It's my fault.
Everyone knows the fifth one's
The fifth
a
one's
little
when
bit
you go
more.
over the top. No, no. Aaron
really-
just quit. Aaron Shea just
He
quit.
just walked out.
Oh, Sunday Scaries. It all makes sense.
Different kind of scary.
A Novel Noel originally premiered on the Hallmark Mystery Channel on
And in
November.
hell.
Simultaneously.
They got it.
They got-
Double
Hell
debut.
Hell got the
Simulcast?
simulcast. That's
Wow.
right. Hell got the simulcast.
Congrats.
That's
That's
right.
interesting.
Yeah. All the CCB movies were gone. Sorry.
Do they project that?
Yeah, I think they do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would think that the fire would cause some sort of.
I mean, it's like a little bit of an ash backdrop, but
That's nice.
Sounds nice.
November 21st, 2024, and also apparently in hell. And it went a little something. Do they have it at a specific time, or can they watch it whenever?
I mean, I think it's around the
When-
clock.
Around the clock.
Yeah, they're showing it on a loop.
What else
But
like
there's
this?
always a fire going. So.
Harper works as a book publisher, and which seems like a little bit on the nose. Her name being Harper. It's like
Yeah.
one of the biggest
Yeah.
publishing companies in the world. Is Harper Collins.
That's right.
Whatever.
If his name was Collins, then we'd have
Oh,
been.
forget about it. She
what?
asks her boss. What am I talking about?
My boss.
Her boss. Can I ask you a quick question? You've been practicing real hard? So you don't bring a new saxophone?
Yeah, the boss. Santa Claus is coming to town.
She asks her boss if she can take a month off. She's a little bit disappointed at the reviews of the latest book that they publish. At her lowest, she finds out that she got picked to run this bookstore for a month, the month of December in this small town. Not only do you have to work for free, you also get to stay there. You stay at the
5-year
upstairs.
waiting list.
She's been on the waiting list for 5 years.
Yeah.
For a reason that I don't understand, she's very excited about this opportunity. She shows up and meets the owner. His name is Sawyer, and she immediately begins to judge the fact that they sell wine at this bookstore.
Oh, can you believe it?
Her whole thing is you either do one or the other. Aaron, do you want to give your thoughts on this now, or do you want to wait until the hot take?
I'll chime in at the hot take.
All right, thanks.
She hates it.
You just pour yourself another glass. The store isn't doing well, and he's considering selling it. They even have somebody who's interested in it. She has some ideas, though, such as, events after hours, giveaways that will drive people to purchase more things, etc. But Sawyer's like, no way, man! Your ideas suck! He does say that you can't host one of your silly little events if you beat me at reindeer games. It's pretty serious stuff. Turns out Sawyer is secretly a wannabe author. And she's like, I can help you. And he's like, how dare you try to help me?
I'll see you in hell where this movie's playing on a loop.
He's like, all right, give it a read. What do you think? And she's like, honestly? You want honesty? And he's like, yeah, I can handle it. She's like, honestly, like, I don't like what's going on with the couple here.
You nailed it, but the romance stuff isn't as
there.
good as it could be.
And he goes full like Mick Foley, brings out the tables, starts hitting her with a chair. He's real mad about this, but does put in the work. And after the next draft, she's like, I think this is really, really good.
It's great.
Let me share it. The next day, she hands him a gift, and inside is his book printed out. And she says, it's getting published.
That's right.
And he's like, what? This is so quickly.
Overnight.
This is amazing. Incredible stuff. The store ends up selling.
Yeah,
Somebody's interested in it. They want him to stay on, though. And he's like, no, I'm a author now. So take your store and shove it. He becomes a hot shot in the book world, and he's traveling all around
Singapore,
Tokyo.
Hong Kong, Tokyo.
What's the capital of Thailand?
What's the capital of Bangkok?
But then he shows back up one day and he finds Harper and is like, you know what I realized? That I can write from anywhere. And they kiss and they're going to spend the rest of the day at least together. And that, my friends, was a novel Noel.
We did it. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get to a novel Noel, the hot takes and whatnot here on
Deck
the Hallmark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about a novel.
Man.
Wow. We're talking about a novel Noel today, and we're going to break it down. We're going to start with
Hot take.
the hot take. Inspired by our friends and family in hell. We're going to call this the hot take. That's right. We are going to share our hottest takes. We're not going to hold back. We're going to share our thoughts on this movie. And we're going to start with you, Brian. Brian.
It feels like you went extra thick on the sarcasm.
No.
It felt personal.
No. We're going to start with you, Brian. Brian, what did you think of your movie, A Novel Noel?
If I could quote one of the greatest television characters I've seen in my lifetime, I've made a huge mistake. This is just okay for me. It's hard for me to say that.
Just okay for Brian is
feel
like
this way.
the worst movie of all time.
It's hard to feel this way and to express how
But he's got Julie Gonzalez. Are you kidding me?
Julie Gonzalez. Try to find a bigger penhead and a bigger Julie Gonzalez
I can't find a bigger pinhead.
Even with the support I give to my friends there, this was just a tough watch for me, unfortunately. This is not going to help me in the draft. No. This is a real bummer for me. I thought I really liked the idea of letting readers take over a bookstore and put their stamp on it for a month during Christmas time in Maine. Very cool idea. But the way this was done, like there was nothing really
Good.
Like when you get into the bookstore, it's like, what's special about this bookstore? What's special about this town? Like there was no mystique, there was no intrigue there. Like this is just a regular bookstore, and like he doesn't even want her there or
Want to run the bookstore.
Yeah, he doesn't want to run the store. He doesn't want her ideas. Like he wants no part of it. I was like, he either should have been 100% against her being there and the bookstore and hated it, and his parents made him do it because they still own it, and he has to do it. He does it for them or whatever. Or he should have been all in on it and like, hey, let's make this place great. It's all you're running this place. I'll do whatever you want. And it was like in the middle. He's like, I don't like your ideas, but beat me in this race and we'll do it and we'll see what it was just like, I don't know, so like not what I
Good.
expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting like a cozy Christmas bookstore, and we didn't get that. The bingo card was a cool idea, and I like that.
Oh boy.
That whole thing. I just like I was just not impressed. I was just like, what's the big deal about this town? And this guy's like confusing because he's not against her, but he's not helping her. I don't know. So it was not what I was looking for. So I was just kind of bummed out, and this is really gonna hurt me.
Oh, your draft's done. Hurt you. You don't
If
have
I'm
a
not
chance.
in last place, then it's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, yeah.
war- I
Because
go
I don't even know
worse.
what Brand gave this, but I can tell you what I gave it after he gives his hot take. Go ahead, Brand.
So if you remember, Bri, one of the hurdles with this movie going into it, when we do our preview show, our kickoff, and all the other things, is this whole idea of winning a contest where you get to run a bookstore for a month.
Yeah.
And we were like, what is that?
Yeah.
And my whole thing going into this is we've read a lot of bad synopses over the years during preview
You
shows
sure
where
have.
it's like, hey, it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
It'll make sense. And typically that does come to some sort of fruition where
nailed
it's
it,
like,
dude.
hey,
Very good.
I understand what the synopsis writer was getting at here, but there's a more fleshed out thing here that they couldn't figure out how to write about it. That's not the case with this. No. The unfortunate thing about this movie, it is, and this is season 7, one of, if not the dumbest setup I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
That the way in which she gets to there to meet him is being on the waiting list for 5 years to go and work at a bookstore for a month for free, and you just live there. It's insane to me, and I thought maybe there would be something more to it, but there's not. And so that was a big hurdle for me, is the fact that not only is someone excited about this, apparently it's a 5-year waiting list. It does not compute in my brain. Maybe it computes with your brain at home, and that wasn't a hurdle. It was a huge hurdle for me that somebody would do this. And I know it lined up perfectly with, hey, I'm not working for the next month anyway. I already took that off, so I have the month free. Why not go spend some time
that would
with
be nice.
books?
Yeah.
I get to go explore a new place. But you could do it
Anywhere.
You could go
Yeah.
anywhere. You could go to anywhere you want to and spend all the time that you want to at a bookstore and not working. And so that was the overarching, how do we get her to meet him, was so insane to me that it would have had to take a lot for this movie to win me back over. And not only did it not do a lot, it didn't do anything. Because to your point, Brendan Penny's character Sawyer is the biggest B of
my
all
gosh.
time.
I can't.
This guy is just a whiny little baby. A whiny little baby. And I didn't like him. And I thought that the way that he got there was dumb. And so it is duking it out at the bottom with 5 golden rings for me. And Dan, we talked about it a little bit. Yeah, I think when you last we spoke, you didn't have it at the bottom.
I'm willing. Listen,
And my thought process here was I also think that the premise of 5 golden rings is almost as dumb, especially when you throw in the fact that there wasn't actually 5 rings. It was 4 and Grandma made one to make it 5. So it's duking it out there at the bottom. I'm not sure where I'm going to land quite yet, but real unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Bran looked at me with 10 minutes left of this movie and he said, this is the worst movie of the year. And I tried to argue that it was not. And I got to be honest, sometimes, not often, but sometimes I just need to listen to Bran because this is like categorically the worst movie of the year. 5 Gold Rings does have something that could be interesting. Like, going and finding the owners of these rings, while it turns out to be really boring, and there's actually not 5, there's 4 of them, there's a private investigator. This is a movie where someone, and I have to believe also, Bran, you said 5-year wait. I have to believe that it's not just this bookstore. I don't know if that's true, but I have to believe that this is something
some sort of
that you put
like
on a wait list.
5 rings of bookstores.
That like there's bookstores everywhere.
You can sign up for this. Like,
when a bookstore comes open, you get, because this guy's trying to sell this bookstore. He hates his life and he hates anyone else's ideas. Yeah. Why would he be like, come on in and tell me all your ideas?
But one of the big perks is you get to work and stay right above it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is it only bookstores with lodging attached?
That there's not a 5-year wait for a bookstore that's about to sell to an owner that might not continue this. Regardless,
I get bad news. I think it was just this bookstore.
Oh my gosh,
that's how.
If it's just this bookstore, the movie's already the worst. Look, we rate these movies out of 10 for the draft. Right now, it's at a 1, and it's descending. It is at a 1 of 10, and we're at the top of the iceberg. We're at the top of the hotel.
This is getting worse for me.
It is the fact that we're going to talk about this, but you brought it up, Brand, and I went on a mini rant while we were watching this movie. This guy who has been writing a novel his whole life has the good fortune of getting free employment at his bookstore that happens to be a book editor for one of the biggest publishers in the country. And his response is, how dare you try to change things? How dare you try to do anything different? And how dare you read my book and give me constructive criticism? You're the worst, man. You're the worst. You don't know. No. This movie, any sort of whimsy or fun or magic or Christmas that would be involved for someone that loves books. When we did this movie in the preview episode, and I said this movie sounds like it sucks, there was a chorus of people, including our very own Aaron Shea, that was like, I love books. I'd love to get to spend Christmas at a cozy bookstore. And after we did the preview episode, I started thinking, you know what? That was silly of me to say. There's a group of people who this really works for. Not this movie, not the way this is done. This is not some Parisian bookstore with all the trappings of an experience. Yeah. This is a job for free with no perks, with 0 perks, nothing to gain, everything to lose.
What's the opposite of a perk? Because you have to deal with Sawyer.
That's right. Including your money. You are losing money. You're losing time. You're losing energy. The town isn't cool. The bookstore isn't Christmassy. It is lose-lose across the board, and Brand's going to have a field day with you on bingo, and Brand's right on it. I like the idea of a secret Christmas checklist. I'll say that. That's the one glimmer of hope this movie has, is a secret movie secret Christmas checklist, which they bungle that as well. This movie is a disaster. It is so bad, and the leads are quality humans and quality actors, and they are stuck in the purgatory that is this movie. Worst of the year. 5 gold rings is better. Stand by it.
What do you think about selling wine at a bookstore?
I think it's a great marketing plan. If I'm going into a bookstore and I find a good book that I'm going to read that night, and then I turn around and you've got a selection of wines that I can also pick up to go enjoy at my house while I'm reading, you've just saved me a stop, and I'm going to come here all the time.
It's one of the best
or
perks
you
of
can drink wine in the bookstore.
Can I drink wine in the bookstore?
Yes, in the bookstore you can drink wine.
Okay, so I work at a place called Cook Station here
Shout
in
out.
Greenville.
Deck the Hallmark.
And
Yeah,
that is their
Greenville.
plan too. There's a bunch of cooking stuff, cooking classes, cooking equipment, dishes, fun little novelty things. But we also sell wine, and you can drink the wine while you shop.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's phenomenal. And I didn't watch this movie in its entirety, but I heard the scene where she starts complaining about it and was kind of like, I think I'm out on this movie.
What?
But
Erin
M-
hasn't watched the movie yet, and she can tell you that it sucks.
M. Judson's has a great
M.
coffee
Judson,
shop
M.
and
Judson
bakery.
also sells wine.
How
And
dare you
wine.
have a wine bar? I got to be honest.
But also, like, his whole thing is she walks in and she's like, you should do one thing and do it well. It's pouring.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
baking something from scratch. Like, I don't even think that's a good argument, but, like, you're...
Yeah. Yeah. But I will say he loves wine. I will get to that in the wait what.
Yeah.
But the one saving grace of this movie to me is that Brian also didn't like it. That literally, like, when I finished the movie, even before I finished it, I was like, if Brian comes in, port, that's right, great job. Philo.tv/DTH, and you're getting a show right now. If Brian comes in and raves about this movie, it's gonna be full imposter syndrome. I'm gonna have to question everything I know. But so that is the saving grace, is that at least we all can recognize a bad movie. Because if Brian Harold says it's just okay for me, that means it is just terrible. So there's that.
So you pour it.
Pour it all the way up.
You gotta twist
didn't-
at the
you
end,
left
though.
some in that bottle. Go ahead, knock it, roll it. There you go. Thank you. Very good.
But do a little wrist twist. That's right.
Yeah, you don't want to get it on the side of the glass. Come on. Yeah, you did it.
So it's more than pouring. There's a twist involved.
There's a twist. Well, then you can't sell the books. Let's get to all the feels. Brian,
that's what we're
anything
doing,
in
huh?
this movie make you go,
Yeah,
something like that?
Something did make me go, when they found out that his manuscript, when they actually sent the manuscript to her boss, he opened up some champagne, they celebrated, and I thought, that's a nice moment. Like, you got to celebrate little wins.
You gotta
it
celebrate
was a
the victories.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. Even
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to happen, but you celebrate the excitement, and I thought that was a good reminder.
Do you
little
remember
things.
what made me go on this movie?
Nothing.
Something happened, and I went, and then I was mad at myself.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't remember.
I don't either. It wasn't worth it.
No, I will say, and this is actually a pretty funny moment. It's when they find out that the publisher is going to publish the book, and
Yep.
he like scoots in and they kiss, and I go, oh, that's a good kiss, and then Dan
And
looks
I
up.
looked up for my notes, and
So,
it was a terrible kiss.
It was a good
Relatively speaking.
initial the initial kiss.
Julie Gonzalo
Getting
was
to the
more
kiss.
invested in the kiss than Brendan Penny was.
Getting to the kiss was not like I liked him scooting closer to her. There's some hand at. There's like
There's some hand, are you going to
nice-
finish
no,
that?
no,
the
he-
hand
he did a good
action.
thing there.
Yeah.
There's some
Nice
hand
catch, nice
action.
catch, nice catch.
So like the initial
Hand
getting to the kiss, I liked that moment. That was nice. And I thought for sure it was going to be interrupted, which it was, but post kiss. So
And the kiss wasn't great.
kiss wasn't great.
So there's that.
Go
so
ahead,
even
Dan.
his moment was not it.
Not even.
Yeah, I mean, we're not watching it anymore, so that's pretty good, right? We're better now, right, than we were earlier.
Let's take a quick
Not a
break. We'll come back.
Unwrapping Christmas 4 better than this movie.
Oh,
There you go.
Spoiler alert.
That's all you need to know.
For like,
boy.
I think I did.
That's right. The 4th Unwrapping Christmas. The 3rd Unwrapping
Whenever
Christmas.
that episode comes
maybe
out,
not.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. Put a sheet on that door.
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
All right?
Really?
That's far away.
So like the Friday after all of the thing, like it's the
Like
first
the
Friday.
7th?
It comes out Black Friday.
Oh, Black Friday.
Okay. Yeah. So this coming Friday.
Okay,
So it's
great,
coming
great,
up.
great.
Spoiler alert.
Phew. All right, let's do this.
Yeah,
Let's
praise.
take a break.
I love that
We'll come
plan.
back. We'll get to the way one, the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Bonjour, oui, oui. Charcuterie. Wait,
pretentious.
what? I know, right?
It sounded like weirdly a little bit like Nickelback.
They wish.
Bonjour, oui, oui. Look at charcuterie. Let's get to the wait what is where we
Look
talk
at
about.
charcuterie was there. I mean, it's the same syllables as this photograph. You know?
I don't know. Let's get to the wait what. And that's where we're talking about what in this movie. Just go wait what. And I'll start with you, Brian.
Yeah, the big thing around this whole thing was with Sawyer and just not wanting the help, really. And
Oh
like,
my gosh.
why are you doing this then? And it's so frustrating because it's like you're really like taking the fun out of it for people who are watching because they're psyched that this idea that you get to go work in this magical bookstore for Christmas time, and he's just like a downer about everything. So it's like throws just a wet blanket on the whole movie right from the start.
I get that some people aren't great with constructive criticism, and that's tough for them to hear, and they have to process it. I understand that. But if you've been working on a novel and you have a dream. You and I are on the opposite end of that spectrum. Like, you and I both are like, somebody tell us why this is a bad idea right now. You and I both live in that world where it's like, please rip this to shreds so I can knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
This guy, if you're going to take constructive criticism from someone, who better?
Yeah.
Who better?
Yeah.
You got it right there for free.
What an unbelievable situation for him.
It is it's the worst development in any of these movies that I've seen this year for sure.
Yeah, that was the only good thing about him getting so upset was that really quickly he turned around and realized how dumb he was being, and like it didn't drag out for too long. But still, that's just ridiculous. Also, how do you invite, if you're managing the bookstore and you're taking what I assume there's like an application process, some type of formal process, how do you not know what she does?
Yeah.
Like you got to have on there.
It seems like a weird grab bag where you could get a criminal.
Yes.
If somebody really wanted to just kill some folks in a strange town, they just sign up for this, and 5 years later, they're just out there laying waste.
Like, you got to have some formal, like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
That you don't know, like, who she is. And she wrote, so the bingo card thing, the bingo card, I think I'm more with you than you think I am.
Yes.
I like the idea of that.
Yes, but it's not bingo, is what Brand. I don't want to take Brand's thing.
That idea of doing that whole, but what she did with it, her friend who passed away made this for her last year.
Rest in peace, obviously.
Obviously, rest in peace.
Of course.
I could never write all over that thing. Like, if that was from a friend of mine who made it for me.
Wasn't it laminated where she can just erase it?
I hope so.
I think it was laminated with like a vis-a-vis marker.
I hope
think
so.
is what was going on there.
But
Vis-a-vis.
as soon as she started writing,
charcuterie.
look at this.
Look at charcuterie.
So yeah, her just writing. If she was writing on it permanently and it couldn't be changed, that's a big wait. What? Because you can't do that.
I love the idea.
It's not going to bring her back.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, buddy. You okay over there?
Sorry. Someone just had to
I
give
know
Brian
we're all down.
someone had to give Brian the
I'm not
hard
going to
truth
bring her
there.
back, Brian.
There's a chance though. You don't know.
You don't know what kind of
What if
magic's
you
in this
didn't-
movie.
What if you didn't?
What if you did it and it did bring him back?
Would have been a better movie.
But I mean, I love the idea of this secret Christmas game that you're playing, and even more so in honor of your friend.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But Bran, if you're done, go ahead, take it away, Bran.
It's just not bingo.
It isn't.
Right.
Not even near
it's
bingo.
It's a checklist.
Yeah.
But it's not bingo. It's not bingo in
You're not trying to get a
how
row.
it's done. You're not trying to get in a row. It's this weird 3 rows of 5, which I've never seen before. It's just not. You can't call it that. We all know what bingo is. Bingo is for sure the superior.
Nemo.
Superior?
No, what is it? The not superior.
Inferior.
The inferior Christmas movie game.
Cannibalizing yourself.
It's the great leveler.
To Christmas movie magic.
Charcuterie all over
Obviously,
yourself.
the better game to play if you're going to play one game while watching these movies.
Yeah. Bingo's a waste of your time.
Where do
Bingo
you
is
even
so
get it?
like a couple years ago. Christmas movie
Bingo
magic.
is so lame-o. You know what I mean?
But also, that's not what this is. This is just not.
Sure.
And I was even fine with it being, I believe, 4 and 3. I was even fine with it not being a square if you just wanted to try to get a row.
Yeah.
She's just checking things off.
Yeah, random
Calling
one.
it bingo is egregious. It's just,
checklist.
it's a
It is.
checklist.
Yeah.
Checklist.
Contest, maybe. How many can you get checked off? It could be a contest.
Could be a contest.
Not a bingo.
They are so for a store that's struggling and not doing well. They're so eager to not be at the store. Like any chance they get where they can, like the whole point of her coming in is to help with the store, and he's constantly like, "You want to come with me?
Yep.
You want to lock
Get
it up?
outta here?
We want to lock it up and we can go and do something." They don't want to be there. They don't want to be at the store, which might be one of the reasons why it's not doing well. Maybe just
Maybe stay
have
at work.
regular hours. I don't know. Shout out Mayor Binky. Just that's all I have to say
Mayor
about that.
Binky, shout out.
Mayor Binky. And last but not least, no, you know what? I'll save it for the homework. Go ahead, Dan.
I love that. He calls the reindeer games not for the faint of heart and says she couldn't win one event if she tried.
Just mean.
Cut to egg relay races and ring toss. Listen, you can either joke it up or you can say it's not serious. you can't do the thing that this is the encapsulation of this movie. They don't pick a lane and it's just kind of bleh and there. What are you talking about, bro? Like, and then they celebrate him as the 5-time whatever winner of this. Bro, it's the games my kids play at field day in the 1st grade. Like you can't do that. That's not, what are you doing? Just be a human being. Be better. I'm totally cool with having wine and books in the same place. I think it makes perfect sense. I think Aaron, articulated that well. But I do want to point out that he knows wine far better than he knows books. The way he talks about wine, pour it up, thank you, is sommelier level. Like, I think you're going to love this, hint of this, blah, blah, blah. It's oaky finish, blah. When he talks about wine, that feels like it's his passion. When he talks about the bookstore, it's like somehow he got wrangled into a transmission shop through Amway. Like, he's talking about this thing that he's doing that's like books. Oh my God, I hope we got another buyer on the line. When he talks about wine, it's like he has nowhere to be and all day to get there. Maybe just do that, like pursue that. His line at the end of this movie, I figured out whether I'm in Tokyo or I'm in Singapore, I can write wherever I am. Are you stupid? Like, are you dumb? like, buddy, you just, that one just flew into your funnel just now. Like you like had to travel on multiple jets to realize like this keyboard's still a clicking. Like, are you kidding?
Well, he took so much time off from writing. I think he just forgot.
I don't even know. Gosh, man. He also says everyone strikes gold every once in a while. Fundamentally inaccurate.
I've never.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, some would say that Brandon and me struck gold with this podcast. We struck gold, and fair. But in actual striking gold, historically, and in metaphorically striking gold, the whole point of that is it doesn't happen often and not for everyone. Everyone strikes gold every once in a while makes it sound like
every few years.
It's pretty per person every few years.
Right.
Pretty commonplace.
Maybe for him.
At one point, he looks at her and says, not a lot of people have the courage to do what you did. What do you mean? Get on a 5-year waiting list to work for free at a bookstore because you're a billionaire? What do you mean? Tell me about the courage part. This is no. And then also for a movie that actually is more about his book than about the bookstore, and I think you would even be willing to admit that it's a novel, Noel. It's about his book. It's so cool that we never, ever have to hear what the book's about.
Oh, man. This was brutal for me.
The fact that we're supposed to be invested in this guy and his just passion for this novel. And literally, she's like, I love how you changed the ending. And I love how the two leads are more romantic. Now, like, guys, it's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
It doesn't meet the bottom of the barrel standard that is a Hallmark Christmas movie. I couldn't believe it, and I knew it drove you crazy.
Yeah, the whole time. All those notes, all that red on that paper, and we don't get a single word.
Nothing.
Kidding me right now?
And then I have one more, but Brand and I laughed about it, and I know Brand loved it, and I think it's going to be What the Hallmark, so I'm going to hold off, and if it isn't, then I'll add it to my
Does
list.
this involve a cruise trip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, here we go. This is an easy...
Not bingo. It's a different game.
It's not bingo.
It's not bingo at all.
Not bingo.
But
this is fantastic. Go ahead, Brand.
It's time for What the Hallmark. I'll go.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I love it.
Please do.
Yeah.
So her parents show up unexpectedly, right? They knock on the door and it's like, oh
And
my
one
God,
of the
it's
best
just crazy.
lines of all time.
And then they walk in and she's like, I thought you guys were on your cruise. And they're like, we disembarked one port early. And then they don't go any further with any sort of explanation as to how that helps get them there. And like, I know, like...
We were talking and we were like, hey, our port's coming up.
Yeah.
Should we disembark a one spot earlier? Should we?
What,
Is it an
do we
option?
know what was the cruise? Where were they going? Like,
Doesn't matter.
Is this
but
like
one port before their stop.
The
They're
only
like,
thing I can
deuces.
figure is like maybe it's like a up the East Coast cruise.
My compliments to
and
the
you know
captain.
we
We're
start in
disembarking a port
start
early.
in Miami. We're ending in Boston.
Should we get off here at Turks and Caicos?
There's one. I'm just saying, if it's going up the East Coast, it's stop. We got one day in Virginia, and then they get off in Virginia. Then they're like, what if we just drive it and we instead of
that
spending the
had
next
to be
day,
a
quick 12
place
hours.
filler line. That's
we
a place
disembarked
filler
one
line
port
that made
early.
the final cut.
Listen, maybe I missed something
It's
to
just
where
fantastic.
that would be the thing that
We
ulti-
disembarked a
We
port early.
disembarked one port early.
How many of you out there listening right now, just email us messages if you've disembarked a port early
port
during a
early.
cruise.
Sawyer's like, did you say port?
And not because an emergency happened. Don't give me this like, well,
Right,
our dog
seasick
sitter said
and-
our dog, blah, blah. No. If you were just having a cruise time,
enough.
cruise time, and you're like, should we pop off here and
Because
call it?
they want, well, and the whole thing is we heard that you were going to be spending Christmas alone, and we didn't want you to be alone. I still don't know how you.
Yeah, no.
What's the path?
Yeah.
How did this help?
Couldn't have been
how-
quicker. Couldn't have been quicker.
Then just like, hey, we're gonna get to our
Or
destination.
are there weeks in between ports? Like, what do we do? Like, are they out like near Fiji?
I think it was just like
Fiji the port?
I don't know.
Whatever. All right, Brian, what do you got?
A huge one was, what is this story?
Yeah.
And what are those
Yeah.
notes?
Yeah.
Like, what is that ending? Like, what's this? Like, what is this? That was driving me crazy because I
Yes.
just wanted, like, give me just anything. Like,
Sounds like it's a
more,
bad movie.
they didn't even. I don't know. Do they know what his story was? Like, could anybody explain this to us? 'Cause-
History or his story.
History is a Bramble Jam podcast. Nope. Okay, go ahead.
South Carolina Public Radio for that garbage.
Shout out.
If you're looking for something subpar. Yeah, that was driving me nuts. That's worse than when they don't tell you how much money is involved in things. When they're like,
You're up
there's
against
money.
it.
So that was it.
He doesn't have headphones in.
I don't hear anything
Oh, okay.
that's going
I
on.
hate that. I hate that for all of us. I
that
happened
it?
to put my headphones
Yeah.
in today. It's worked out well for me.
Okay. Go ahead, Dan.
I've got one, and it is who is organizing / in charge of the Christmas sing-along at this bar.
Yeah.
Because when we start the scene,
It's a hodgepodge beluga.
it is a full-on hodgepodge beluga, and not the good kind. We've been a part of the good kind.
Hodgepodge
Beluga. We've been a part of the good kind. But the thing is, in this bar, we see this group of friends all singing a Christmas carol, and then the song stops. And then Brendan Penny basically goes, I've never seen a white Christmas. And then another dude goes, how am I friends with you? And he stands up and walks over to the piano and starts playing Jingle Bells. And I don't know. The only thing that's like, I don't want live music at a bar. A Christmas sing-along at a bar, I could get behind because it's a little bit different, and I could be down for that for, an hour or 2 hours. But I can't get behind the hodgepodge beluga is we're all singing this together, or anybody can come up to the piano and play any song at any time whenever they want to. That was crazy to me. Who's in charge? I would like to know.
We did, everybody.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations to us. It's the first
Yeah.
of many. First of many this week. We are in a
Same number this week, from what I understand.
same number. It's a big
tuned,
week.
though.
Big week. Pack your bags for a big week.
This
next
is what
weekend.
I actually found out about 7 days. Like when there's 7 days in a week, if you
Yeah.
do them all, it's the same as when you do them all the next time.
We keep saying we have a big week every
It's
week.
every
There's-
week's the
There's
same.
an episode a day, guys.
Every episode.
Start
every
your morning
We're
with
not
DTH.
doing the port early thing.
No,
No.
we're not.
Okay.
We're not disembarking
Every
a
port we're
early.
hitting.
That's right. We're hitting every port. You
Hit
got
it
it.
all. But when we next week when we review review
When there's a day.
Touchdown Christmas Time on Sunday,
Touchdown Christmas time.
still a big week.
It's a big week.
We're going to the following Sunday.
That's right. Big week once again.
So it's technically a week and a
big,
day.
a big
to get
fortnight. A big fortnight. We're disembarking a port.
We're
a fortnight early.
disembarking. We're disembarking a day early.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying to say.
Put sheet
All
on
right,
that door.
we're gonna be back. Hey, we're gonna be back tomorrow with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.